Out of all your awards and accomplishments, though, which is the one that's most special to you? We'll go down that.
When we win, that's it.
Is it that plain and simple for you, though?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you play.
Is it winning or misery for you?
Yeah.
What's misery like for you?
It's tough. You play to win. You know, in anything. If you want to race me down the street, I'm gonna beat you. You know what I mean? Because it's black and white for me. You know, I don't think you're happy finishing second or happy getting to a World Series. The goal is to win. If I don't win, then not fun to be around.
So what's worse, 2007 or 2001, 2003? You get to the World Series, but you lose, or not even making it to the World Series?
I mean, how do you rate losing? You know
It's
what I
all
mean?
misery to you.
Yeah, I've never understood it. You know, well, it feels better because we made it to the World Series and lost. Why does it feel better? I've never understood that. I really don't get that one.
Well, there is something, you know, you've accomplished something by at least getting to the World
What
Series.
did you accomplish? You lost.
But there was some winning to get there. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, that's it. It's as simple as that. That was the Yankee mantra for years. That was their culture. Just win. Al Davis, just win, right? I mean, the Yankees they don't view it like that anymore. And I think that's the issue. You know, it's now become, you know, it's went from the world champion New York Yankees to the crapshoot New York Yankees, because that's how they view this. Just get in and then see what happens. We'll do just enough to where we can remain competitive, and then the rest of it's just luck. That's a completely different mentality than what it used to be. And because they carry that completely different mentality, it's been a losing organization for 15 years now. And you can sit there all you want as a fan of any of the other 29 fan bases, and you can complain about that. But I think that's where we differentiate, right? Like you can go on, you know, you can go and agree with, like, you know what I think it is, man? I think we just care more. I think we care more in New York City. You know, have you ever been to Yankee Stadium in these October games? The atmosphere is 5 times as electric as any other atmosphere is in baseball. That's not an exaggeration. I think it's just we simply care more about winning than the other 29 fan bases. And I think that's where this disconnect between Yankees fans and other baseball fans come from. We were raised on Derek Jeter, so we know winning much more than you do. I think that's where all the complaining about Yankees fans and being spoiled, and the complaining about Yankees fans booing and doing this and being classless, arrogant, loud, I think it's all just because we care more. You know? So you can listen to any soundbite of Chris Rose telling you that Yankees fans are crazy for thinking the season's a failure. I saw that going around the internet. That's fine. Chris Rose has nothing to do with the Yankees. Yankees fans know what winning is. The other 29 fan bases just, I'm sorry, you guys don't know competitive edge. This is called sports. 29 teams fail, 1 team succeeds. That's how it's always been. And I don't blame you. You guys are ignorant to, you know, that. A lot of you guys are. Like, I feel like those who are complaining about that, it's you don't know what it's like to consistently win, so you're not going to have that mentality. And you can't tell me I don't know what it's like to lose, because I've also been a fan of the Knicks my whole life. And I have the same approach. Winning a championship's the only successful outcome. So, yeah, that's how that works, and I think that's the perfect way to put it. Derek Jeter put it perfectly, and that's going to be That's going to be played time and time again until the Yankees shake up their philosophy. Take it from the guy who won 5 championships. Let's get into our intro, folks. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for 3. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay, welcome to the show, episode 736. As we know, the Yankees lost. They choke away Game 5, lose the World Series, and the Dodgers celebrate while the Yankees, tone deaf as ever, play New York, New York, as that happens. Just so fitting. Let's get right into it. You know, this was Game 5, so this was a couple days ago. I didn't have the time to record right after. I've been busy. It's Friday, November 1st. I'm off today. Figured I'd record. Cole versus Flaherty. Bottom of the first inning, Flaherty mislocates a couple of fastballs in the middle of the plate. Judge and Jazz go back-to-back with home runs. The Bronx is going insane. It's 3-0. And I'm getting a little bit of hope that I did not want. You know, I watched Game 4, very nonchalant. I enjoyed the Volpe moment. It was all cool. But I also said if the Yankees take Game 5, then I'll start to get a little interested and maybe a little delusional. 3-0 after the bottom of the first inning, you know, I was starting to think a little bit. And then bottom of the second, Flaherty, his breaking balls get hit around. Volpe with a leadoff double off of a curveball. Wells grounds out to move Volpe to third, and then Verdugo steps up, picks up the RBI base hit on a low slider. Run scores 4-0. Flaherty's pulled after an inning and a third, 4 runs. And then the bottom of the third inning comes, and I get officially sucked back in. Because one of the guys who I've been supporting hard this year, Stanton mashes a solo home run off of Brazier, and it's 5-0 Yankees. And I'm starting to think, like, okay, we're going to go back to L.A. I'm texting my friends, at what point do you pull Garrett Cole in case it goes to a potential Game 7? You know, I'm thinking this shit's over. I'm thinking Dave Roberts is going to punt again at this point. But then you get to the top of the 5th. And you get the meltdown, which we are going to get into separately. At the end of the 5th inning, the worst inning in Yankees history, at least in my lifetime, it's 5-5. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Yankees get to that one pitcher, Gratterall. Soto and Judge with back-to-back walks on him. A 6-pitch at-bat to Soto. An 8-pitch at-bat to Judge. You get a mound visit. Jazz steps to the plate next. He grounds out to move Soto and Judge to second and third with 1 out. Stanton steps to the plate. He gets a hanging slider. Deep fly ball to center field. Sac fly, 6-5 Yankees. They probably should have scored more in that inning because top of the 8th comes and the Yankee bullpen melts down. Canely loads the bases without recording a single out. He's pulled for Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver gives up a sac fly to Gavin Lux. 6-6 ball game. It's tied. Ohtani goes to first off the catcher's interference. Now the bases are loaded with 1 out. And then Mookie Betts, fly ball to center field, sac fly, scores a run. And all of a sudden the Dodgers are up 7-6 now. Unbelievable. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Yankees can't get the big hit once again. They wasted a Judge 1-out double against Trinan, gives him a sweeper inside. Jazz walks, 5-pitch walks. So it's first and second with 1 out. Mound visit. Stanton comes to the plate next. I don't know why he swings at the first pitch. He swings at the first pitch and he pops it up. Rizzo strikes out after that, swinging at a sweeper out of the zone. 4-pitch at-bat, weak, just terrible at-bats. And then the bottom of the 9th comes, and they go down 1-2-3 against Walker Buehler, who Dave Roberts goes to, and that's it. Verdugo strikes out for the final out, and the Yankees lose the World Series. They lose Game 5, 7-6 at home. New York plays, and the Dodgers celebrate. Fortunately, I kind of checked out after Game 2. Again, I say kind of because they were sucking me back in. But the emotions were easier to live with. But one thing that's just never going to be easy for me to live with, and one thing that will continue to bother me about this team, is their lack of attention to detail. It's the lack of fundamentals. And what have we said all year? What have we said every year? It continues to happen because they have a manager who literally doesn't think they're issues. He's gone on to podcasts and said he doesn't believe the Yankees are a bad defensive team. He says every postgame, when there's a defensive mistake or a mistake on the bases, he'll make excuses for it. They're the only people in the world, the Yankees are, who believe they're good fundamentally. But visibly and metrically, the Yankees are a poor fundamental baseball team on the bases and in the field. And it finally caught up to them, as they deserve, as you'd expect. I mean, this has been a problem since 2018, which is not a coincidence that that was the first year under Aaron Boone. Ever since they hired Boone to come in and be the less hard, friendly manager, they've become, unironically, a sloppy team that has flashy rosters, but they don't play championship ball. So when you consistently make the same fundamental miscues, and you're consistently at the same time told that it's all good, that's a recipe for disaster, folks. And so that's why when the top of the 5th inning came and Garrett Cole was cruising with a 5-0 lead, that's why all hell broke loose. You get the fly ball to Aaron Judge, a routine fly ball. It was impossible to screw up because it was hit right to his glove. He didn't even have to move. He drops the fly ball, the captain of the Yankees. So now you got first and second, nobody out. Blake comes out to visit. And then you get the ground ball to Volpe, who makes a bad throw to Jazz Chisholm at third base. Probably should have threw to second base there. Jazz is not a natural third baseman. But Volpe goes to third. He short arms the throw. Jazz can't handle it, and now the bases are loaded, still with nobody out. Cole, being an amazing postseason pitcher that he is, gets 2 gigantic strikeouts on Gavin Lux, and then once the order flips to Ohtani. So now the bases are loaded with 2 outs, and nobody has scored yet. But you get a ground ball to Rizzo. Right there, you're thinking, oh my God, we got out of it, we're still going to win this game. Rizzo fields it way back. He doesn't charge. He's flat-footed. He doesn't look up until it's too late because Garrett Cole doesn't even come over to cover. It's 5-1. After that, Cole's completely shook. He's rattled, doesn't have the same composure. Freeman hits a base hit. Teoscar Hernandez with a double, and all of a sudden, it's a 5-5 baseball game. And that's it. That's this team's culture. It's this laissez-faire persona. The lack of urgency. There's no discipline. There's no accountability. That's why this keeps happening. All month long, the entire postseason. You go back to game 1 against the Royals. The Volpe play at shortstop. That was a mess. Fortunately, they won that game because they scored some runs. You go back to the Cleveland series. I forget which game it was, but Rizzo on the bases, and in the same inning, Jazz Chisholm on the bases. 2 separate plays. Cost the Yankees a beginning. And then you get to the World Series. Game 1, the play where the ball's hit to the wall. Soto to Torres, right? Soto's slow to throw the ball in. Just take it his damn time. Torres, lazy on the one hop. Rizzo doesn't even back it up. A number of times, Rizzo just not backing up second base there. Ohtani should have been on first, maybe second base tops. Ends up scoring on a sac fly from third. You get the Cabrera mishandle at second base in game 1. You get to game 4. Volpe doesn't score from second base. Impossible. Rojas sends Stanton in game 4. Impossible to make a decision as stupid as that to send a guy who can't move. And then you get to the 5th inning of game 5. I mean, all year long. This is not something random. This is not random. You know, I'm not just hopping on here complaining about fundamentals because they lost in game 5. No, this is something I've been on all season long. I've been on this for years, to be honest with you all. For years, I've been saying this is a problem. But all year long, if you follow me on Twitter, I got the receipts right here. May 28th this year, I said on Twitter, if there is one thing that never changes, it's the Yankees and their ineptitude regarding fundamentals. June 23rd, I'm on Twitter, I say, such a pathetic IQ on these Aaron Boone teams. Have always lacked basic fundamentals. It's not random, folks. July 5th, consistently embarrassing fundamentals in the Boone era. Player friendly, though. July 7th, fundamentals, folks. August 18th, I get very specific here in this tweet. I go, last night, LeMahieu double clutches on a throw home. Heel went from the windup with the runner on first base. Verdugo missed a fly ball in foul territory. Grisham couldn't score from second on an extra base hit. LeMahieu didn't step on the first base bag. Soto misread a play late in right field. The impeccable fundamentals of Boone's Yankees. August 20th, I say, this team has middle school fundamentals and it shows too much. It's an abomination that this beta is manager of a franchise like the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, from Boone to Cashman to Michael Fishman, the Yankees should be humiliated. They should be mortified. Yesterday, Joel Sherman detailed in the New York Post that Dodgers players, or the Dodgers, were telling their players in team meetings that the Yankees value talent over fundamentals. They were saying that to their players, that if the Yankees are ran on with purpose, that they're going to inflict self-harm. That the Dodgers had a game plan, which was to put the ball in play and make the Yankees have to play the field. That the Yankees were the worst base running team by every metric, and they were much worse on the field than San Diego. These were all things that were said to the Dodgers in meetings. That the Yankees have very short leads on first base, that the Yankees are metrically the worst positioned outfield, that they've got guys playing out of position everywhere. The Dodgers were amazed at how many reload throws were, I quote this, skittered through the infield with nobody to take charge. They were amazed at how out of place Jazz Chisholm was and how often he was just standing around still when there was a play in action. That right there is all from the New York Post article written by Joel Sherman. Go check that out. It's embarrassing. Joe Kelly saying in his interview, they started kicking the ball around and playing Yankee defense. That's so disrespectful. How, like, what balls, do you have any balls? Like, if this all doesn't lead to change, nothing ever will. They are not serious for a contender. They only get to the playoffs consistently because of their roster, but they lack everything else that you need. They have a GM living off the glory days from the 90s. Their manager was hired because he hit 1 home run in the postseason. He's only still here because the Yankees have this 10-year rule with their managers. Their captain doesn't show up when he's needed. They're the sloppiest, messiest team I've ever witnessed when it comes to fundamentals. Their approach is to just get to the dance because it's all a crapshoot. The only thing they have is talent. That's it. It's like the little rich boy who grew up with rich parents. This all happened in the World Series. These are mistakes that would be absolutely unacceptable in a fucking April game, but they were made in the World Series. This is a professional team, a Major League Baseball team making rec league mistakes time and time again, and then they do it on the biggest stage, and there you have it. By the way, the Yankees ended up regaining the lead, but they continue to embarrass themselves with sloppy baseball. The catcher's interference with Austin Wells, with Ohtani at the plate. Then you have, with Luke Weaver on the mound, 3 disengagements. 3 disengagements. It's so embarrassing to be a Yankees fan right now, just because you have this team that should be good enough, but they don't play baseball in Major League Baseball. They don't play baseball. And, like, there were other parts of this game. There are other parts of this team that I think needs addressing. Like, the bullpen was pretty bad, too, at the end. You know, again, that's a separate issue. I think they gave up too much contact. And I kind of want to get into that part of this, the Cashman part. And so we'll do that right now as soon as we return from break here. But I just wanted to start with how disgustingly disgraceful the Yankees are in terms of just making or executing the little things. And it's a thing that we sing every episode. We sing songs about this. It's disgusting, and it needs to change now.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4.
Cashman's not he's not free of blame. Cashman isn't free of blame here because the Yankee bullpen has been a concern for a bit. It failed them in the end. Like, it had a good end of the regular season, and overall, I guess they had a good postseason, but they did fail them in Game 5 too. At the end of the day, the Yankee pen go 2 1/3, 2 runs, 6 base runners, 1 loss, 1 blown save. Like, when it was 6-5, I knew the Yankees weren't winning that game. The Yankees regained the lead, but I knew they weren't going to win at 6-5. I didn't trust this bullpen against this Dodger lineup because my biggest concern for the entire season has been the sheer lack of firepower and the lack of swing and miss stuff in the back end of that bullpen. It's a lot of one-trick ponies who specialize with one certain pitch, guys who spin the ball. Right, that's what they're obsessed with. Fishman comes in here and he wants just spin the ball. But Canely with all the changeups, and I kept saying this: like, good lineups are going to sit on that thing. And what happened? He throws 3 consecutive changeups to Kike, base hit to lead off the inning. Next batter, Tommy Edman, first pitch changeup to him, base hit. And then he walks Will Smith on 4 consecutive changeups. It's all he does. He doesn't even keep them honest with the fastball. Luke Weaver couldn't get swing and miss. He gives up 2 fly balls to score 2 runs. Both of those fly balls were considered hard hit balls at 95 plus off the bat. And the Yankees never responded afterwards. I just think that one of the priorities needs to be getting guys in here who throw 98 to 101 mile an hour gas. Guys with strikeout stuff. And to be fair, Luke Weaver throws hard and he gets swing and miss usually. But he was definitely fatigued as the postseason progressed. That started in the Cleveland series. You could tell. He wasn't getting the same swing and miss. It was a lot of hard contact, mislocated pitches. Because he's just been used so much since no other Yankee reliever has that same type of stuff. They had to go to Weaver a lot. Right? And that's on Cashman. That's his fault. He never went for, I mean, you can go back to the offseason. He never went for Josh Hader. I know Hader had a bad year and he choked the wild card series away, but like the Yankees could have been different than with Houston. I would have signed him to a big contract because I don't care about penny pinching. It's a guy who is in the 100th percentile in terms of whiff rate. His K rate, 99th percentile. His chase rate, 92nd percentile. His fastball velocity, 81st percentile. He has a filthy fucking slider as a left-handed pitcher. They never went for the kill at the trade deadline. That was probably the biggest issue. Trade deadline comes around. All these relievers are available. Tanner Scott, you let him go from Miami to San Diego for a price you definitely could have afforded. He had the best year of his career this year, a 1.75 ERA, a 2.52 ERA plus. His fastball velo in the 91st percentile. His whiff rate's in the 92nd percentile. He's in the 84th percentile with chase rate. His strikeout rate, 86th percentile. This is another left-handed pitcher with a great slider. Michael Kopech. Cashman let him go where? The Dodgers. He lets him go to the Dodgers. And in 24 regular season games with the Dodgers, he supports a 1.13 ERA. He had a solid postseason. He had maybe 2 bad outings out of 10. His fastball is filthy good. His velo sits in the 98th percentile. His whiff rate, 92nd percentile. His K rate, 93rd percentile. What the hell would the Yankees do if Luke Weaver didn't become this amazing pen, or arm out of the pen? What the hell would have done? Because Luke Weaver was another bargain bin grab who the Yankees got for change. He could have easily been lackluster. What they would have done? What the hell were they going to do? The stuff in the bullpen is just not overpowering enough. Tommy Kahnle gets ground balls and soft contact with his changeup. Clay Holmes, same thing with his sinker. Jay Cousins, he's got some strikeout stuff, but again, that's another bargain bin grab. And look what happened in the postseason. He went right back to that. He wasn't the same guy versus playoff lineups. 5 innings, 5 runs, 11 base runners, 9 ERA. Stop bargain bin shopping and go for the kill. Cashman's 2 big offseason relief pitching arms, Gonzalez and Ferguson, neither lasted the season before being cut. His 2 big relieving arms at the deadline, Mark Leiter and De Los Santos. Santos didn't last the season because he was also cut. And Leiter, who was horrendous for you in the regular season, had a solid postseason, but that's not enough, man. It's simply not enough. A big reason the Yankee pen had to be used so much was because their rotation was also not good enough to eat innings. I get so tired of watching these starting pitchers for the Yankees go 2.2, 3 innings, no more than 4 innings. Garrett Cole's the only one who can give you length. Carlos Rodon, you signed him to a $162 million deal. He was supposed to be this horse. In the regular season, he certainly 8 innings and he made every turn through the rotation. Good for him. But come the postseason, simply not enough. 3 2/3 against Kansas City. He had the 1 start against Cleveland the first time around where he goes 6 innings. But after that, he goes right back to 4 2/3 against Cleveland the second time. 3 1/3 innings in Game 2 of the World Series against the Dodgers. That's not good enough. He was supposed to be right there with Cole. Luis Heel, solid rookie season, in the running for Rookie of the Year, but major command and control issues. 2 starts this postseason, 4 innings in each of them. Clark Schmidt, same thing. 4 2/3, 4 2/3, 2 2/3. What are we doing? What are we doing? Stroman, this was your big add to the rotation. Marcus Stroman was. This is a guy whose stuff sucks so much that they paid him $18 million to never pitch in a postseason. Cortez, another guy with lackluster stuff who relies on pinpoint accuracy. Meanwhile, the big bad Dodgers, they go and sign Yamamoto in the offseason to a record-breaking $325 million deal. And that was after signing Shohei Ohtani to a record-breaking $700 million deal. They go and grab Jack Flaherty for the Tigers at the deadline, not worrying about the medicals like the Yankees were. You think the Dodgers are worried about payroll? They're not looking at payroll. They're looking at wins first. They're looking at wins. So the Yankees have a ton of work to do this offseason. They have so much to do. Soto's obviously got to be your number one priority here. I think we all understand that part of it. He's got to be your number one priority. Which it's crazy to me that there are, it's a minority of fans, but there are fans out there who don't even want Soto back. This is a guy who did absurd things for you. He's the reason you were in the World Series. Like, you cannot go back to what it was before with just Aaron Judge. You cannot go back to that. You think you can win with one star player? Look at how the Dodgers just won. Freeman, Betts, Ohtani lead the way. Ohtani didn't do much, but Freeman and Betts were incredible. And then, after that, yes, they roll out productive role players. But you have to have both. You have to have, they had deep depth. They had depth. It's called spending and not worrying about payroll. Don't look at that. Don't look at the luxury tax. Look at wins. That was the Steinbrenner way for years. People keep saying, don't bring Soto back because you have to build a roster full of solid players instead. This isn't 2015 anymore, man. Star power is always going to win. Some of you have been brainwashed into thinking the Yankees can't do both. This isn't, it's a corporation that shits cash. This team's worth billions. What is it, up to $8 billion they're worth? They have cash. Steinbrenner is loaded. The Yankees are a brand. The Dodgers didn't just sit back after signing Ohtani and say that's it. The Yankees sat back after Soto and said that's it. We'll go and, get Verdugo and Stroman. So let's make this shit very clear for those of you who don't want Juan Soto back. In 2023, the Yankees missed the postseason. In December of 23, they went and traded for Juan Soto. In the 2024 season, the Yankees made the World Series. What do you think it was? What do you think it was? So it's not don't sign Soto and instead get some more solid talent. It should be go sign Soto and then go get some more solid talent. That should be the philosophy this offseason. Besides Garrett Cole and Luke Weaver, who I think both will be back. I know Cole's got the opt-out, Weaver's got the option, but besides those two guys, coming off the books next year, coming off the books at the end of this year, you have Clay Holmes, Tim Hill, Johnny Loizaga, Gleyber Torres, Alex Verdugo, Tommy Kahnle, Anthony Rizzo, and Lou Trevino, who, Jesus Christ. So all those 8 guys are coming off the books. That's $60 million roughly between the 8 of them off the books. Use that money for Juan Soto and then increase payroll on getting other talent. I don't care. I don't care if your payroll's $3 or $4 million. a starting pitcher, a couple relieving arms, a third baseman or a second baseman, depending on where Jazz Chisholm goes. If you're going to keep him at third, move him to second. A first baseman, Alonso, Walker. I don't care. If you want Bregman to play infield for you, you have to. You have to do some more. You have to go and build a team and stop worrying about money. They spend, but they don't win. So just maybe stop spending just enough to where it's just going to appease the fans. Do what it has to take to beat down, to be the best team standing. Because that Dodger roster was better. It was deeper. I just, you have to just, just be the better, just make the moves that need to be made. I'm speechless right now because this team continues to just try and get by with loopholes. If you got to sign Soto to $700 million and then make some acquisitions outside of that and your payroll goes from, 309 to 390? So the fuck what? Do you think that's really going to hurt the Yankees? They're going to make money off Juan Soto. They're going to make money off of him. And I'm not worried about Soto not wanting to come back either. I'm not reading into any of that. I know, people were talking about Soto watching from the dugout, the Dodgers celebrate on their turf and on the Yankees turf and all that. And, post-game comments, he was kind of he was in business mode, right? This guy's Boris trained. He always was. There's all season long, he was telling you. So if you weren't listening, that's your fault. But he was telling you all season long, none of the sentimental crap matters to him. All the love he was receiving from Yankees fans, the roll calls constantly, the love, just the New York City sell jobs, none of that shit means anything to him. He wants the money. He wants the money. He's already got a championship ring on his finger from Washington. He's been there, done that. He's in this for the money. Now, I will say, making the World Series in your first year with a new team, it's not the worst impression. So if you're under the impression that Soto is all of a sudden going to leave because the Yankees are this mess and they're not going to, no. From his perspective, you can build off that. But I just think it's going to come down to money. And I think Steinbrenner, I actually think Steinbrenner is going to pony up. The Yankees, again, they do what it has to, they do the essential tasks. It's just after that, that's been my issue. What do they do after they perform the big acquisition? I think Steinbrenner is going to pay because, again, there are a lot of expiring players, which helps. And, again, Soto is going to make this team a ton of money just based off of tickets, TV ratings, merchandise. He's going to make them more than they lose. That's going to be made back. But again, I don't want to get into all the hot stove stuff. This is about Game 5 of the World Series, and this is about the Yankees' ineptitude regarding fundamentals. That was my biggest problem with the loss on whenever the hell it was, 2 days ago. So, yeah, I am fine. I'm in Knicks mode now, so expect a lot of Knicks content coming up. As we usually do in the off seasons, we take a break from the team. So we'll have some Yankees episodes here and there, but it's going to be mostly Knicks from here on out. So for those of you who are Yankees fans and have followed along the podcast all year, I appreciate you all so much, man. I really do. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next year. But those who are Knicks fans and sticking around, it's going to be a fun year, I think. So stick around. But that's it regarding this episode. The Yanks lose Game 5 of the World Series. So that's it. That's it for them. So we're going to head to break, and then when we get back, we'll wrap this up with our trivia. We'll be back in a second.
If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
Okay, so for this episode 736 of the podcast, our question of the day. How many Yankees have won the American League Triple Crown, and who? How many Yankees have won the American League Triple Crown, and who? Obviously, this season, Judge fell short of that, but how many Yankees have won the Triple Crown, and who? So let me know the answer. Folks, that's all we got for this show. Episode 736 is in the books. Thank you all for tuning in. And again, for those who do follow the Knicks, I will see you very, very soon. We'll be full focused on them now. I know I missed a couple episodes already, but won't miss many at all going forward the rest of the way. So, very excited for that team. As for the Yankees, it's going to be a long winter. So hopefully it ends the way we want, but I can't predict the future. So we'll see. Appreciate it all, and I'll see you then. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees, and go Knicks!